Hey everybody, it's Vera Wild again, back with some more tips for beginning crossdressers, and today we are going to talk about lips. So obviously the lips, one of the major features of the face and something that is always worth bringing some attention to. The main areas whenever you do your face would be the eyes and the lips. That's what you want to draw attention to. Now, the main thing when it comes to lipstick is shades. Now, when you buy your first tube of lipstick, you will almost invariably make the mistake that every single dresser makes, which is to buy hooker red. You'll notice something about this shade. I'm not wearing it. There's a reason for that. Almost nobody can pull off this color. That includes genetic women. It's a very difficult color to pull off, but we all buy it first. Obviously, I bought it. You probably bought it first, but set it aside. You're generally going to want something with a little more nuance and probably a little more subtlety to it as well. One of the problems with a really bright shade like this is if you have any remaining shadow around this area from facial hair that's showing through it all, it's going to make that stand out a bit more. So you don't want something excessively bright. And obviously that can vary from person to person, but that's a good rule of thumb, at least until you get sort of a better handle on the makeup overall. Now, as far as shades go, it's a little bit like foundation. You'll probably want to experiment to find a shade that works really well for you. And one of the nice things about lipstick, as opposed to foundation, is it's cheap. So it's much easier to get a variety of shades and then experiment with them. Now, you'll notice this is a bit of a darker shade, which I find for the most part works for me, but I also have lighter shades. I do have pinks, and a lot of that should be determined by whatever your overall look is and the color of your other makeup. So it's good to have a standby shade, something you can always turn to that will always work, but you want to have variations, pinks, darker reds, maybe even purples, maybe even nude colors if you want to go for something more subtle, but it should be largely determined by what the rest of your outfit is and what your overall look is. It should all fit together, because if I had really dark eyeshadow, if I went with sort of a silver or a really black eyeshadow and then had really red lips, it would look weird. It wouldn't flow as an overall look. So you want to be sure that you coordinate your lips with the eyes and with the overall sort of color palette that you have going on. That's not to say that you want everything to be the exact same shade. If you overmatch, that looks weird too. So you don't want everything to be the exact same shade, but you don't want everything to clash either. Honestly, it's a lot of trial and error. But that's the thing. You really should not be afraid to try new shades. And again, beauty of lipstick, it's cheap. You can always get another shade. And especially if you're experimenting with shades, don't be afraid to buy the cheaper brands of lipstick so that you get a sense of the color. And then if you like it, you can take that same shade, just go to the drugstore, compare it, find a shade in a higher quality brand that's the same thing, and then you'll have something that's of nicer quality but a shade that you already know will work for you. Now, that is pretty much it for lips. They're fairly simple, they're fairly basic, but they are essential. Oh, there was one other thing. Some dressers, usually those more on the drag queen end of things, will line their lips, and you may even see some of them lining with black. And lip lining is something I would generally recommend against. It's a very harsh look. It's a very stylized look, and if it's what you're going for, by all means. But if you're going for something a little more natural, a little more in line with what an everyday woman might wear, you'll probably want to avoid the lip lining because it puts excessive emphasis on the lips in a way that is not natural. It can still work as an overall look, but again, it's not a natural look in any way. Oh, the one other thing is obviously there is lipstick and there is also lip gloss. Now, the thing about glosses is that they're shiny, they can give it a nice pop. It can work very well when used over a lipstick of a similar shade. Not necessarily a great idea to use in place of a lipstick, because even though most lip glosses are tinted a shade, lip gloss rubs off much more easily than lipstick does over time. And so it is good, if you're going to be using lip gloss, to have sort of a base shade underneath that, so as it fades you still have color in your lips without having to reapply the gloss every half an hour or so. And there, of course, are also lip stains, which last much longer. And you do want to try and keep in mind how long you are going to be able to stay dressed. Obviously, some people, especially starting out, have limited windows of time, so you want to be careful if you're getting a lip stain that you basically have the whole day where it'll be okay if your lips still have some color to them. So that is about it for lipstick. We'll be back again with some more. I hope you find all this helpful and you find it useful. And until next time,